What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. And today, it is time that we do another 2024 presidential prediction. Now, I can already tell the comments down below are going to be a complete tire fire. So, here are a couple disclaimers before people post this out of context. Number one, this prediction on why I picked Trump versus Biden is solely based on who was leading the RCP aggregate for the 2024 Republican or Democrat primaries. Trump was up by around 30 points nationally. Biden was up by around 25, 30 points on the Democrat side. So that's how I chose the candidates. And you may see at the bottom right, there is a metric, I should say the popular vote metric thingy. And what this says is this prediction is based off of a Biden +2 popular vote. What I did was I looked at the RCP national aggregate for the nationwide general election polls, and it's currently Trump +2. But I took into account a lot of these undecideds seem to be more Democrat-leaning independents. So I decided, average it out, it probably is around a Biden +2, maybe a Biden +3 popular vote. So those are the disclaimers that, hey, this is a Biden +2 electorate. This is in frickin' April 2023 based on the national polling. We are going to kind of take into account some statewide polling, but I like to use national polling early on because, well, it is a better metric because these statewide polls, usually it's like 80% undecided or something crazy like that. So we're going to take into account some statewide polling, but mostly the national polling, which we estimated to be around Biden +2. We take into account the trends of each state using 2020, 2022, even 2016 data, etc., etc. So those are the disclaimers. Of course, we have the probabilities on the left. Safe is over 90%. That means there's virtually no chance it happens. For example, a state like Arkansas, it's like a 99% chance it goes Republican. All right? So those are the disclaimers. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below. Guys, go follow Real American Politics on Twitter. We gotta boost those following numbers up ASAP because those are rookie numbers compared to a couple years ago before Twitter deleted the account before I finally got it back a couple months ago. Of course, also follow the Rumble account down below. I'm going to start posting some more exclusives just to Rumble. People seem to like it, so I'll continue doing it. And of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you could join Real American Politics, which is a phenomenal deal as it helps support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content? Well, this is the best way to support it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, enough disclaimers, enough of this or that. It's time for a 2024 prediction. Again, final reminder, this is based off of a Biden +2 popular vote, which is actually a bit more favorable considering the national polling right now, which is, according to RCP, Trump +2, which the national polling tends to be a bit more accurate, but for argument's sake, a lot of those undecideds are more Democrat-leaning. We made it Biden +2 for argument's sake. And this will change in future predictions. We just got to see how the popular vote shifts. So let's start with the for sure, no matter what you do, safe Democrat states. And again, when these are safe states, these mean no matter what you do, they're going to vote Democrat. No argument about it. So New Mexico could get within 10 points. Yeah, but there's virtually no chance Trump actually wins the state of New Mexico. Illinois, similar deal. Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, another one that it could shock a lot of people and get within 10, but that doesn't mean it's very likely they win it. New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont. I would also put Maine's first into this category. I just don't see how Democrats lose, in particular Biden. I just don't see how he loses Maine's first. The only one that could probably lose Maine's first is like, New York Governor the Hooch. That's the only one that can lose, a Hookelmander, whatever you want to call her frickin' name. Either way, that's the only one that could somehow lose Maine's first. I don't know how people can think that it's going to shove 50 points Republican. Yes, it is an elastic state. Maine as a whole is, but it's not going to vote Democrat or Republican whatsoever. Now, for the Republican states, I don't think I got to say much. Stop with this Montana blue crap. It's getting annoying, by the way. Nebraska, Kansas. Could this state get within 10 points? I see it, but it's not going to be, less. Democrats have like a 5% chance of winning Kansas in 2024. Plus, when you factor in the Biden +2 electorate, it's not going to be likely Republican. Again, this is probability, not margin. Also, Ohio, Iowa. Could they get closer? Technically, yes, but I just don't see how Trump loses the states of Iowa or Ohio. I would also put Maine second here. Trump is a very strong Republican in Maine second. Outside of Susan Collins, who's the last Republican to win Maine second at a statewide level? Yeah, exactly my point. I don't even think the clown that ran in 2022 did. I mean, it's not good. He's the only Republican to win Maine second in a long time at a statewide level. So I think Maine second will be safe Republican. Now, there's one more state on each side I want to include. Florida, it's going to go Republican. I don't think it's going to be like a Trump +15 state or anything like that, but I think it will be a virtual lock that Trump will win the state of Florida. I think they're going to call it on poll closings. Virginia. I think Virginia will get closer in 2024, but I don't see Trump winning. I just don't see a path, or a realistic path for Trump to pull it off in Virginia. So is there like a 5% chance he wins it? Yes. Does that mean he will? No. That's why it still is safe. So could it be within 5? Yes. That doesn't mean it's a lean Democrat state. So I have it as safe Democrat. Now here are, I guess you could say, the non-safe states. There's some of these states that you can borderline say, oh yeah, they're probably going to go Democrat or Republican no matter what. But for argument's sake, let's do it. So let's go West Coast to East Coast. And now this is the first hot take of the video that will get certain people to clip this out of context and post it on Twitter. Nevada. It's a Republican trending state. Trump lost it by what? 3 points? This is a Biden Biden +2 electorate. When you factor in the trends, when you factor in turnout, not going to be a problem for either side. This is going to be a high turnout election. People that think otherwise, you're not ready for anything. This will be a high turnout election. Presidential elections always are compared to midterms, but you get the point. I think all that in mind, he just needs to do a couple points better in Vegas. He's got the state. I think it is tilting towards Trump. This is a state that is slowly shifting Republican. Very slowly, but it is. And if Trump does a couple points better in the popular vote, well, yeah, I think he pulls it off. And quite frankly, Laxalt nearly won in 2022 in spite of crappy rural turnout. He would have won if Republicans turned out Trump levels in the rural parts of the state. That's a fact. He would have won the state of Nevada. So I think actually Republicans are looking pretty good in the state of Nevada going into 2024. Now, Arizona. Looking at it, I am getting less and less hopeful about the state of Arizona. There's one Sun Belt state that I'm actually a bit more confident going into, but it's not Arizona. Arizona does not look good for Republicans at the presidential level. I think it is leaning towards President Biden. However, this is the big however. There is a pathway for Trump to win the state of Arizona, especially with that new third party that, if they run somebody like Manchin, could it happen? Yes, but I don't see it happening. And it is going to be a very close state. It's probably going to be like a Biden +1, Biden +2 state. But there is a chance for Republicans to pull it off. Now, that doesn't mean, Blake Masters or whoever the Senate candidate's toast. They're not toast at all. They're just not in an easy situation. Not in a similar situation, I should say. Trump's just going against Biden and maybe the No Labels Party, whatever the frick they're called, while Masters, Lamb, or whoever the Republican is going against Sinema and Gallegos. So they're not exactly the same. I wouldn't be shocked if Trump won or lost state by 3, but somebody like, I don't know, Mark Lamb, for example, wins a state by 5 just because of the third party vote. But if Trump wins the state of Arizona, we're winning that Senate seat. That's what I will say for that. But it is a leaning Democrat. Texas, guys, how many times have we heard this? How many times do we have to teach the Democrats a lesson? And even then, I'm hearing that Democrats, they're not really confident. There's a lot of Democrats fleeing the state of Texas for a state like Colorado. I think that Colorado will become a bigger problem for Democrats than they think. Florida is taking a lot of Republicans away from the Midwest. It seems like Colorado is taking a lot of Democrats away from a state like Texas. That could be a good thing for Republicans in the state of Texas. Plus, how much money will their Democrats have to spend just to flip the state of Texas? Seriously. They're going to have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars just to maybe get close here. I don't think it's going to happen, especially in a Trump +2 electorate or Biden +2 electorate. And it seems like trends are starting to somewhat slow down in the Texas suburbs, in a place like the Dallas burbs. Parts of Houston, it seems like they're stagnating. San Antonio, it seems maxed out. Austin's really the only place where I could see Democrats getting way more votes, but not 400,000 votes out of freaking thin air like somebody said on Twitter. I mean, seriously, you think 500,000 more votes just suddenly appear? That ain't gonna happen in the Austin area. That's the only way Democrats could even get even within like a point of winning the state of Texas. Nebraska's second. I think it is leaning Democrat. I just don't see how Trump pulls off the state or the district as of now. Could he? Yes. Will he? I doubt it. Don Bacon did not do good there at all in 2022. And while Trump's an even worse option for the district, I just don't see how Republicans, I should say Trump in particular, how he pulls it off in 24. But yeah, now we get the Midwestern states. Or actually, let's actually do the hot take states first. Georgia. This is going to piss a lot of people off, but I've been looking at some polling data as of late. I think Republicans are actually in a better situation in Georgia than they are in Arizona. Now, Herschel Walker was possibly the worst candidate Republicans could have ran in Georgia. The only thing going for him was he was a football star in the state of Georgia like 30 years ago. Outside of that, the scandals keep piling up, and people thought that Trump was a degenerate and had a lot of problems. Boy, Walker had quite a bit of scandals. Even then, he nearly beat the sitting incumbent senator of the state of Georgia. They had a run in a runoff, and well, Walker almost pulled it off. Brian Kemp won by 8 to 9 points, and that was after he signed some pretty conservative bills. And it seems like the Georgia GOP, they're starting to get their act together. It seems like they are starting to abuse the early vote system, but just overall use it. And I think Georgia's one of those states where it is shifting left, but in a Trump or Biden +2 electorate, I think this is a state that Trump would pull it off in. In a Biden +2 electorate, yeah. That doesn't mean he will. It will be a close state. Let's be real here. But based on everything we're seeing, it seems like that the Georgia suburbs, like, some of them are still shifting heavy left, but some of them, like Cherokee, which is absolutely massive, it seems like it's stagnated a little bit. And a place like Fulton, it seems like that actually shifted a bit Republican. Plus, it seems like there's rural areas still to grow for Republicans. You do the math, I think Republicans, at the end of the day, Trump, he may pull it off in Georgia. I think he will by the skin of his teeth, especially in a Biden +2 electorate. But that doesn't mean he will. But we just got to see what happens. We just got to see how the electorate looks like in 2024. North Carolina, that's probably leaning Republican. Borderline likely. Let's be real here. The Democrat Party in North Carolina is imploding. I mean, the Speaker of the North Carolina State House, he knows what he's doing. I mean, basically sleeping with his opponents to make them flip the party IDs. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. That alone tells you how bad of a situation the Democrats are in North Carolina. A lot of Democrats are flipping. It's not looking pretty. Republicans basically have a trifecta, except the governor, but they got the Supreme Court. They got a supermajority in both chambers. It's looking pretty good for the state of North Carolina for Republicans. And Trump, he did good in North Carolina both times. It is not shifting at all. It's a very inelastic state. And if the national electorate swings 2 points right, I just don't see how Biden would pull it off in the state of North Carolina. I may make this likely. For now, though, I may just keep it lean for argument's sake. Minnesota probably is likely Democrat. I really don't see how Trump pulls it off. It will be, I think, a bit closer than 2020, but that's not really saying much. Michigan, the problem is the Michigan GOP is just incompetent. But the one thing that Michigan has going for it is there are a lot of rural voters that still vote Democrat. It's not like Pennsylvania where the rural areas are outside of northeastern PA maxed out. There's a lot of central Michigan voters that they still vote Democrat, but you look at their demographics, they should probably be, Democrat or Republican voters, but they still vote Democrat to a lesser extent. So I think Michigan will be leaning Democrat, which, considering the Michigan GOP, that's kind of a miracle. Let's be real here. But Michigan will be leaning Democrat. New Hampshire is borderline safe. I don't see how Democrats lose New Hampshire. Similar with Maine at large. I just don't see it. So now there's 2 states. Here we go again with this. 2 states that will determine the 2024 presidential election. I think as of now, Wisconsin is tilting Trump. As of now, the state of Wisconsin is tilting towards Donald Trump. Does that mean he will win it? It's hard to tell. Or does that mean he will automatically win it? No. But you start looking at some of the turnout data we had in 2022. The fact Ron Johnson won despite his awful margins in the WOW counties, he won because he did better than Trump in the Driftless region. And sure, a bit better the place like Waukesha, but if he would have collapsed like Michaels in the Driftless region, he would have lost. So Ron Johnson's not the best fit for that region at all compared to Trump. But he did good there. He did about the same as Trump. Plus, there are signs in Waukesha that Democrats are starting to max out. Ozaki's really the only real concern I have for Republicans going in the future. Plus, with there being a presidential election and Trump on the ballot, the Northern Woods conservative that they basically never vote in off-year elections, they're going to turn out in 2024. I think this election will become the year that Republicans finally turn Wisconsin into this tilting the lean R state. Now there's one more state, Pennsylvania. And just like last time, I'm leaving you guys on a cliffhanger. This, in my opinion, will be the state that determines the 2024 presidential election. I think we're looking okay we're looking decent in Nevada, decent surprisingly in Georgia, all right in Wisconsin. It's going to come down to Pennsylvania. This will be, in my opinion, the closest election since probably 2000. It's probably going to come down to a couple thousand votes in the state of Pennsylvania. It's so close, I don't even know how Republicans will do in the state of Pennsylvania. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, and join the channel today. Sorry for leaving you guys on this, just Pennsylvania is one state where I honestly don't know. You can make an argument, especially in a Biden +2 electorate, it flips. We just got to see what happens. Anyways, folks, Godspeed to all of you.